What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Welcome to another installment of T3 Power Ranking, where I go ahead and take a look at a group of watches that my channel members choose, and it's usually within a certain genre and price point, like we did best dive watches under $1,000. And if you want to join in that conversation, consider becoming a channel member. Click the join button next to the subscribe button. It's $4.99 a month, and again, we're going to be doing this weekly, where you guys choose a genre of watch within a certain price range, and then I go ahead as the resident watch snob and rank them. So today we're going to be taking a look at quartz watches under $500, and a few of them I've actually reviewed on the channel, and a few of them I actually have here today with us. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look. It is 1:46 p.m. Let's get down to business. Okie dokie, a little bit of a controversial pick because this is part of the 5600 series, a prolific rectangular G-Shock, right? But this one is the atomic one. And for those of you who know my history with atomic watches, you know that I don't think that it's really that big of a selling point, right? The truth is, atomic timekeeping doesn't work everywhere. There's certain places that people live, even within the US, that the watches just don't sync well. And then when you consider that this is twice as much as like an E1V, a 5600 E1V, that doesn't have the solar or the atomic timekeeping, it's kind of confusing why you would want to spend double for something that really isn't all that convenient. I suppose the real selling point here is that solar capability. That's really what you would want. But it is a great watch. Again, I love the DW 5600 series. Very wearable when it comes to the G-Shock line. A lot of G-Shocks are big, thick, chunky boys like myself. But this, fairly thin, wears fairly flat on the wrist, and yeah, you are getting atomic timekeeping if that's what you want, and you're definitely getting that solar, which I really like. For $112, there's a sale here with this code LOVEYOUMOM on this website. What website is this? JCPenney, okay. You can get it for $100. Okay, I'm not affiliated with any of the sites that I'm showing you, by the way, guys. So $100 for this Casio 5600 series, atomic, solar. I actually really do like this. I'm going to go ahead and give this C tier. Now, that's going to piss a lot of people off, but hear me out, all right? C is not bad at all. I gave the SKX a C tier when we were looking at dive watches under 1,000. C is solid, average. You got to be really good to get above that, all right? So because this is twice as much as just a 5600 E1V, I'm going to dock it a bit, and yeah, I'm going to put it C tier. Okie dokie, a watch we've taken a look at on this channel, the Timex Expedition Field Chronograph, where I didn't know what Indiglo was. All right, you can shun me, comment section, go ahead, shun me. I didn't realize you had to push the crown in for the backlight to, illuminate the entire dial. This watch is awesome. In fact, there's only one thing I don't like about it, and that's that it has one of those stupid offset date windows. However, the date window is really nicely bordered. Unfortunately, on this image right here on the Amazon listing, it's like cycling a date, so it looks kind of bad, but everything was straight and true with the one that I reviewed. I really absolutely love this watch. It had big, legible, visible, easy to read, tons of information without being bunched up and busy. Very, very functional for $54. That's not bad at all on Amazon right now at the time of filming. Really impressive watch. I guess you have a few variants, but this was the one I reviewed. And I'm honestly, for $54, yeah, man. 100-meter water resistance rating. Of course, it's quartz because all the watches are quartz on today's list. You are getting the Indiglo. You're getting really legible, visible dial. You're getting a nice skeletonized broad handset. Honestly, for $54, I'm going to go ahead and put this on B tier. This is a B tier watch, guys. I love this freaking Timex. Next up, the Seiko Arnie. Now, this is on Long Island Watch. I'm not affiliated with Long Island Watch, but I do support them. Shout out to Mark. He's the nicest guy in the business. $420. Okay, this is the Seiko Arnie Prospex Solar SNJ025. This is a watch with a really rich, interesting history, kind of a cult following. You know that I'm a fan of Seiko tunas. I would love to have put my Seiko tuna on the dive watch power ranking episode, but it was, just above the price range that we were looking at. It's just above $1,000. And I would have loved to put my Seiko tuna on the quartz episode, but again, it's much more than $500, so it doesn't fit into either of the power ranking episodes we've done. But this is, I suppose, a tuna in the tuna family because it has a shroud. But this is where I dock it. All right. This watch should have had a metal shroud, like the original Arnie, I believe, had a metal shroud. The big tunas all have metal shrouds. This is a composite shroud. So when you bump this up, like this is why I got rid of my Digi-Tuna. I did a giveaway years ago. I was super excited for the Digi-Tuna. When I got it, it was this composite shroud, and I bumped it up against one thing, not even hard, just like a little skimmed it up against something, immediately put a huge groove in the shroud. And that doesn't happen with G-Shocks even. G-Shocks predominantly, unless you're getting like a G-Steel, they're resin. They're not metal. And still, when you bump it up things, the resin just kind of absorbs it. It doesn't leave a big mar. Doesn't leave a big mark on the case. And for some reason, this really kind of brittle composite that Seiko's been using with their non-metal shrouds, it just mars up and marks up very easily. So I don't like that. Points for being solar. Points for having some, interesting functionality, points for being under $500 and having a cool history and some great loom. But I'm honestly, for $420, this is kind of getting up high on today's pricing sheet. 47.5 millimeter case. That's going to be really big for a lot of people out there. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is below C tier. This is like a D tier watch. I'm sorry. Next up, another Timex, and I've reviewed this one, and I wear this one every day. I'm not kidding. I have it right here in my hot little hands. This is the Timex Iron Man. This is the classic 30 oversized, I guess. Yeah, on here. Classic 30 oversized. Why this one specifically? There's, again, Timex Iron Mans aren't necessarily as prolific as G-Shocks, but there are still a ton of them. But this one specifically I love because it's super concave. It hugs your wrist very, very comfortably. And then look, it's this Velcro nylon strap that you don't have to mess around with any resin rot. If you use this as I use it for, as my gym watch and my running watch, I get hot, I get sweaty, I don't have to worry about like my sensitive skin getting that contact dermatitis that I sometimes get from G-Shock resin straps. One of the most comfortable watches I've ever owned, and I got it for less than $40. Still at the time of filming, less than $40, $39 on Amazon right now. Great backlight, incredible backlight. Let me see if the camera will focus. Huge display. Might not be as tough as a G-Shock, but when it comes to watches that I wear every day, I wear G-Shocks every day, but my Timex Iron Man is always on my wrist, seriously, and it's probably one of the least expensive watches I own. I'm gonna go ahead and give my Timex Iron Man, and I'm totally biased, B tier. That's a B tier watch right there. So far, Timex is crushing it in the quartz power ranking. Nuts. Bouncing back and forth from Timex to Casio. Another Casio made it on the list. There's a theme here. My channel members, they dig Casio. The DURO. We've spoken about this watch on the last power ranking episode. Unfortunately, I don't really need to go too in depth with this one. I've reviewed it. The one I had, and again, the second I say this, people in the comment section are gonna be like, "Oh, you got a dud. The one you got is just a dud." Okay, that's not indicative of everyone, and that's true. Like, not every watch that I take a look at is indicative of the rest of the watches that they produce. But my Casio DURO that I bought and I reviewed, the second hand did not hit a single index marker. It was dirty. The bezel felt really gritty. The crown was gritty and difficult to actuate. This is, honestly, when we're looking at some of these other incredible quartz watches, this is like an F tier. I'm giving this an F tier. And I was actually way nicer to this watch when we were looking at dive watches. But when it comes to quartz watches, there are so many really competent quartz watches on this list. This has got to be F. Another Seiko! Who would have thought my channel members also are fans of Seiko? The Seiko Flightmaster, a watch that I reviewed not long ago. Really like this watch. Super duper functional, tons of information. You have that pilot slide rule that I'm not smart enough to use. You have threaded pushers. Okay, so these aren't just for show. You can actually thread these pushers up like you would a Daytona. That helps with that 200-meter water resistance rating. You're getting a date complication, alarms. You are getting it comes on this bracelet. I'm not a big fan of Seiko factory bracelets or straps, so it's like, But honestly, the amount of money you spend on this watch, just under $300 for this much information, it's not A tier because I feel like this is a bit too busy, but this is a watch that you could kind of, I mean, it's not dressy in any way, but I would almost say it's one and done because of just how much it does, right? You can swim with it. You can wear it every day. It's sporty. I suppose you could try snazzing it up a bit by putting it on a leather strap, but the truth is it's really not a dress watch. But this, if you have a limited collection, this should probably be in it. So this is definitely B tier. Next up, a Citizen EcoDrive Promaster Nighthawk. I've already reviewed this. Actually, I've made like 2 or 3 episodes about this. Bought one for my dad. He loves it. EcoDrive movement, always on, date complication, dual time. You're getting really good lume, threaded crown with a secondary crown, 42 millimeter case, 200 meter water resistance rating. This is an absolute stunner of a watch. Again, it's funny that this one came up right after the Flightmaster because this is kind of Citizen's answer to the Flightmaster. It's not a chronograph, but I mean, this is a GMT, so that's still a really cool complication to have. This is an easy B tier watch, B tier. Next up, the Tissot PRX Quartz. Now, there's a few PRXs out there, right? Today, we're obviously looking at the Quartz iteration. Kind of a retro design, although this design's really in right now. Integrated bracelet, kind of angular case, really nice brushed grains on this render here. This is a sharp watch. I'm over the integrated bracelet fad, though. I'm over it. I was so over it, in fact, that my Omega Seamaster that I loved, that had this type of case with an integrated bracelet, I sold it because I was like, yo, I'm sick of seeing this. I don't even want to see one in my collection. I got rid of it. This is a sharp looking watch, though. It truly is a sharp looking watch for $375. If you're looking for a Swiss made watch, you're not worried about the movement. You don't really care about the intricacies of mechanical movements and everything. You just want a sharp looking watch that's Swiss, has a impressive name attached to it. Sapphire crystal, I believe. Yep, sapphire, stainless steel, of course. Let's see what movement. End of life indicator, 3 jewel ETA. You know what? For $375, I'm gonna say this is C tier. So this is solid. This wouldn't be my go-to, but if you're looking for something like this and you literally do not care about mechanical watches, then this is a great option for you. So this is a solid C tier. Nothing super special. I would probably splurge for the I believe there's a Powermatic 80 version, right? Whichever one is the automatic. I would splurge for the automatic, but if you want the quartz, save yourself some money. Great solid C tier watch. Next up, the Bulova Lunar Pilot. How could we talk about quartz watches without bringing this watch up? All right. This watch is insane because the fact you can get it for under $500 all day long, and the fact that it has the history that it does, it almost doesn't make sense to me, right? This watch went to space, Sure, it's not a Speedmaster, it's not a Pogue, but this is a legit space watch, and you can get it for under $500 all day long. Really, really cool cushion case. I love the pushers, how they're kind of flared out. I really love the dial layout, kind of simple 3-register design, nice contrast, black and white. You can get this with PVD coating, I believe. There's also that titanium two-tone special edition, the limited edition, which is almost $1,000. But for under $500, you know what? I don't even own one. Most of my watch collector friends have them though, and I've gotten to play with them and wear them and stuff. For under $500, and this is the top end of our pricing today, I gotta give this A tier. This is the Bulova Lunar Pilot is A tier. I understand the number one complaint is that it's a bit big, but I love this watch. A tier watch all the way. Next up, another watch I have here in the office, thanks to one of my channel members, the Cassie Oak. Have one right here. This is a watch we actually just reviewed. You know, this was one that I kind of came around to. You know, again, integrated bracelet, angular bezel watches, like that's the fad, right? So when they kind of released this Cassie Oak, I was like, I'm done with it. Why are we doing this? The G-Shock does not need to do this. But then I started getting kind of interested in it, and I was kind of poking around, seeing, you know, oh, these are kind of cool, I guess. Maybe, well, let me wait until I see one. Then one of my channel members stepped up, sent me one to review. Still have it here in the office. We'll be sending it to you shortly, Matt. Yeah, I had some complaints about it. You know, the screen is a little bit difficult to read quickly, and I don't like those stupid metal kits to make it look like a Royal Oak. But for $99, and if you get one of like the really cool ones, like the red one, for some reason it's not here listed on the site, but this is a pretty dang cool watch. This transparent one is also pretty dope, actually. This isn't my favorite G-Shock, but it's not my least favorite. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a C tier rating. Definite solid choice, man. Next up, hey, shout out Mark, Long Island Watch once again. Marathon. All right, not a huge fan of the Marathon big boy watches because I think that they kind of look cheap and ugly. This one I actually am a fan of the look. It almost has like a Benris Type 1 design aesthetic. The Marathon Navigator Pilot Tritium, so you don't have to mess around with any lume. This is tritium tubes. Radioactive. 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 How come all Imagine Dragons songs sound the same? Can someone explain that to me? Like, they suck. They're like the AP of bands. AP only makes the Royal Oak, and Imagine Dragons only makes one song. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, this watch is a little bit of theater, all right? U.S. government issued. This is military. This is mil spec. Here's the deal, guys. For those of you out there who aren't in the know, if you only knew how bad mil-spec things were, you wouldn't be impressed by the term mil-spec. I'll just leave it at that. Military dudes in the comment section, sound off. Every time I mention mil-spec in any of the reviews, I get a ton of veterans and people active duty alike saying, hey, mil-spec sucks. So I appreciate your input, guys, and thank you for your service. But this watch, a little bit of theater, I say, because they're talking military, mil-spec, U.S. government, but only 5 atmosphere water resistance rating. Like, it's tough, but don't really get it wet though. Yeah, I'm sorry. This is D tier. This is D tier. Not a fan. 378. Not a fan. Next up, the Victorinox Inox. Under $300 for this big boy. 200 meter water resistance rating. That stupid, dastardly offset date window. Really huge crown guards. This is a tough watch. Now, I haven't reviewed one on the channel, but again, multiple friends own one of these, the automatic versions though, and they love them. So what do I think? Well, it's Swiss made technically. Sapphire crystal. Victorinox, I love their knives, their Swiss Army knives. It doesn't, man, I don't love the look of it though. That's my issue. 43 millimeters is not humongous, but it's also not the most wearable watch on the list, I feel like, with those huge chonky crown guards. I feel like I can't give it C tier. it's in between C and D. So I'm going to put it D tier. Yeah, I'm going to put it D tier. Even though I think it is a solid watch and it is quite competent, I just don't really like how it looks. Yeah, I'm sticking with it. D tier. Sticking with it. Next up, the watch I'm actually wearing right now. I'm telling you right now, this is incredible. It's going to be incredibly biased. Casio G-Shock 6900 series Neo Tokyo. All right. This is one of the best ever G-Shocks ever to be released. S tier, period. S tier. I don't care what anybody says. This has the most intuitive button layout. It is badass. It reminds me of Akira. It's just, I freaking love this watch. This is an S tier watch. Casio G-Shock DW6900 Neo Tokyo. This is S tier. And last but not least, you knew what had to happen eventually, right? We would talk about the Moon Swatch. Technically under $500, right? I think, what was it released at? $260. Look at this stupid statement. Due to overwhelming demand from Swatch fans all over the globe, scalpers. There's currently not enough stock from the Bioceramic Moon Swatch collection. We're working around the clock behind the scenes to make the 11 unique watches that are replenishing our selected Swatch stores regularly. Why you gotta do us like this? There's like no Swatch stores anywhere. All right, like there's like none in California. So like, I'm not gonna drive to Vegas to go to the nearest Swatch. That's so stupid. Blah blah blah. Collaboration with Omega. We know. While this is the best part. While these are definitely special, they aren't part of a limited edition. So you should indeed be able to get your hands on one. See you in store soon. F you. You know, for $260, I thought these were really cool. If you go on eBay and you pay a premium for these, you're an idiot. And all the scalpers are also idiots. But if we just look at the watches themselves, I think they're cool. They're D tier though, because they're not super functional. They look really super duper cool, but they're D tier. All right. And if you buy them from scalpers at a premium, they're F tier. So there you have it, guys. Welcome to, or I should say, do I still say welcome if we're ending the episode? Well, thanks for hanging out with us on this installment of T3 Power Ranking. We're going to be doing another one next week, most likely, so join the channel membership, see that members Discord thread, click it, and yeah, join the conversation and pick our next parameter. Maybe we'll do bronze watches, maybe we'll talk more about chronographs, maybe we'll talk about moon phases. Again, genre, price point, snob, power ranks. All right, guys, I love you. I will catch you on the next one. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.